Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ordinary here, bringing you episode 9 as GM of Team Japan. And last episode we finished up the off season. We simmed the preseason so we could jump right into the regular season sim. This episode, we finally got ourselves a stud. Patrick Kane signed with us last episode. I'll just show you the lines really quick. So we got Higgins, Bourneval, and Patty Kane. Hagelin, Anderson, Kuhlman. The reason we have Hagelin on the second line is because he's not actually a sniper. So I wanted to put a sniper up on that first line to play with Patrick Kane as a playmaker. I figured two playmakers and a two-way forward wouldn't really work as good together as putting a sniper up. If we have some troubles scoring goals or winning games, I might switch Hagelin and Higgins. We'll see. Anderson is our second line center. He's playing with Kuhlman and Hagelin. Tyrell between Jokinen and Bennett, and Luke Adam between Jamie McGinn and Matt Bolesky. So we actually have a team that looks like a hockey team. Our second line isn't very good, and our first line left winger isn't very good. If we had like an 85 here and like an 87 here, we'd be looking more like a real team. Our defense is pretty shaky too. We got Ellerby and Postma both pulled from the Jets, Hainsey and Gilbert, and Scuderi and Martin. So our defense is a little lacking, and our goaltending not as good either. We got Tokarski and Elliott. We want Elliott to be starting going into the first game of the season. Thank you. But yeah, so we got an average team. I mean, it's going to be our best season yet probably, but still doesn't really look like a contender by any means. But without further ado, we'll jump right into the sim. Like I said in the description of the last video, I'm definitely going to be putting out a lot of these, as well as Phoenix GM modes, just because NHL 15 is about 2 weeks away, and it's a good idea to wrap these up and give them some nice endings before that game pops out. I don't want to just leave these as cliffhangers. Just drop it off at an episode isn't that good. I'd like to win a cup or have a good playoff run, or at least be at the end of a season when these end. And speaking of NHL 15, I was thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do for GM mode there. Ooh, 2 big losses. I don't know if I want to do a fantasy draft. I don't know if I want to do something similar to this, where I take a shitty national team or a shitty CHL team or like a Swedish team and put them in, sub them in for a team. I could do that. I could do fantasy draft, right? If I do a fantasy draft, I'm not going to do it live. I'm going to do probably about 3 and show you what teams I drafted. They're all going to have different looks to them, so you guys could vote in the comments which one you like the most of the 3 fantasy teams that I drafted. I'll just start up 3 different GM modes and then delete the other 2 once we pick one. Okay, what are we at right now? 3, 3, and 1. Not the worst. Our losses have been by multiple goals most times. 1 goal win, 2 goal win, 2 goal win. Average record? What's the league looking like? So Team Japan is in 5th with 7 points in the Pacific. We're a win away from a playoff spot. I mean, it's only been 7 games. Can't put too much stock into that right now. But yeah, back to what I was talking about with NHL 15. I was thinking maybe I'll do fantasy draft the 3 of them. Let you guys pick between the 3 teams that I do draft, which one you like the best. That's an option. Of course, there's always the option of just pulling an NHL team. I don't have any problem with that. I was thinking maybe I would do the Canucks. That's my team that I cheer for, and there hasn't really been a team in the last couple years to change as drastically as the Canucks have. If you look back, 3 years ago they won the President's Trophy and went to the Cup Finals. 2 years ago they won the President's Trophy, were out in the first round. 2 years ago they got swept in the first round, and then last year they were right near the basement of the league there. So with Gillis out, maybe they need a new GM to come in and turn things around. That could be me. So I was thinking maybe I'll do the Canucks. Another team I wouldn't mind doing would be something like the Leafs. They're kind of in the same boat. They've been average for so long that maybe it's time I go in there and shake things up. What I don't really want to do is pick one of the basement teams, like Buffalo. I mean, it's too obvious of what you're going to do, and I don't want to play a team like LA or Chicago or Boston, one of the teams that's a little bit too stagnant at the beginning, right? You make a couple trades the first couple episodes, try to make your team pretty good, and then you just sim like the first 3 seasons. There's not going to be too much to it. So I'm thinking like an average team, kind of like how Phoenix was at the beginning of this year. That's why I chose them. I think that's the best kind of team to make a series for commentating over GM mode, at least. What are we? 6-9-2. Jesus, so we've gone on a tough streak here. Yeah, that's gonna put us near the bottom of our second last in the conference, or in the conference and in the division. Let's sim up to the beginning of December, and then I'll take a look at individual stats. But yeah, so definitely let me know in the comments what route you want to see me take. Is it sub in a team like I've done with Japan? Is it do a 3-way fantasy draft and let you guys choose? Is it Vancouver, Toronto, or some other just already NHL team? Definitely like to hear from you guys on what you think would be the most entertaining to watch, because that's the goal in the end, right? Is just to put out something you guys want to see. OHL forwards. Scout these guys a little bit more. Why not? And are we in December? No. And I haven't played the demo or anything. I don't even have an Xbox One at this point. Definitely going to get one in the next couple of days, actually, because I do want to have NHL on next gen. I want to get Destiny for next gen too. All my friends that I play Xbox with, they're all on next gen. I haven't had too much time to play games. Been a busy guy, so I haven't bothered buying one since they came out, but I played the Destiny beta when it was out, and it was a hell of a good time, so I'm going to pick up that game. The Halo Master Chief Collection comes out in November. You know I'm going to be playing that a shitload. So I definitely want to get that Xbox One. Might as well get NHL on next gen anyways. Where's stats then? Okay. Need to shut the fuck up and just look at what I'm doing. Alright, player stats, NHL for this season. How is everyone doing? How's Patty Kane doing? How's Higgins over Hagelin? Was that a good decision? It looks like it has been, although Hagelin's actually scoring and Higgins is getting assists. So maybe I do want to switch those guys up, even though Higgins does have more points. The reason I put him up there is because I wanted him to be that goal scorer. And Hagelin's actually leading the team in goals this season, so might be putting him on that first line. Definitely think I will. No penalty minutes for Kane. Plus minus, as far as plus minus goes, it's Jokinen and Tyrell and Bolesky. And then LRB is my only even defenseman, and then everyone else is minus. That's I'm not too worried about that. That's going to happen. Assists, it's Kane and Higgins. So, team hasn't been brutal, but it hasn't been perfect. Bourneval, 10 points centering that first line. Dana Tyrell has 10 points centering his line as well, so he's going to have to step it up, hopefully. We're going to take a look at team stats here. See if we can see any special teams that need to be fixed. And do that. Points, where are we in the league right now? 27th point percentage, 26th. Goals for per game, 20th, so we're not really scoring that much. Goals against per game, 22nd, so we're getting scored on a lot. Power play percentage, where's that? Here we go, 19%, so that's right around the 20th mark as well. Penalty kill percent, 13, so our penalty kill is actually decent, so we don't have to change that. It's our even strength play, and our power play is not so very good either. So hopefully putting Higgins on that second line, switching him with Hagelin. That'll turn something around for us. Anderson, I might want to move him down and move Tyrell up. Tyrell's been doing well. I didn't see Anderson's stats on the board there at all. He has 6 points. Tyrell's got 10, so they're the same player basically, two-way forward. But Tyrell's just playing better, so maybe move him up. Kuhlman, Jokinen had quite the good stats too, so I'm going to put him up instead of Kuhlman. I want to make sure I get these guys on their proper wings if I can. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Bennett, are you right winger or left winger? Good. So I can swap Bennett and Kuhlman. That way they're on their proper wings. Sniper, two-way forward sniper. Hopefully that third line turns into something. And then fourth line I'm happy with Ellerby. He was our even defenseman, wasn't he? Pretty sure. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so he's got an even plus minus, which is pretty good considering how shitty our team is. So I'm happy with having him up there. No problem at all. Let's keep some simming going. If we continue to drop some games, I'll take a look at the power play, try to rearrange that. Another loss. Jesus. So from what I've been hearing about NHL 15, it's kind of split right down the middle of all the feedback I've been reading. Some people are really liking the demo. Some people are really underwhelmed. I kind of have high expectations. I'm not going to touch on EA SHL being left out or GM Connected being dropped. That's already been beaten to death. So just the fact that they did leave those out, you kind of expect the game to play really well, to provide some type of excuse. Like, there's no way they can't put EASHL and those online modes into the game. My best guess for why they didn't is just because they didn't have the time or the resources to update the networking and coding to port over those modes. That's the only logical explanation to me. They're not going to drop it so you buy 2 games. It's such a fucking conspiracy theory. It's garbage. They just didn't have the time and resources to make it as good or an improvement over last gen, so they left it out. And it sucks, but that's what happened. But with that, I kind of expect them to make the things they did put their resources into really good. So hopefully the new gameplay, the new AI, hopefully it's really solid. I've been reading some feedback that the AI isn't that updated or different, which is kind of disappointing to me. I think that's the one thing that they should really put effort in. I know a lot of people complain about how much time and money they put into updating the graphics and the little things like the flappy jerseys or whatever, and the new announcers and the game day broadcast. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, as a player of NHL that plays all the time, that shit doesn't matter to me. But you got to be able to see the draw in that, where it's the people that maybe buy the game every couple of years, or they play it once a month at parties, they have friends over, whatever. You can tell that's who they market the game to. That and the hut players, I would say. But so for those players, they see the cool new presentation, they see the flappy jerseys, that's intriguing to them. To me, not so much. What I think is the AI really needs the update. If there's one thing that can really bust this game, it is AI. And I don't know if I've ever said this on the record, but how I think they can fix the AI, or at least the glitch goals, or whatever you want to call them, the goals that go in no matter every time you do them, or there's an 80% success rate or something like that. Those goals, how I feel about those is, why don't they give the goalies Why don't they make 3 different AIs for the goalies, right? Or 4 or 5 or 2 even, just multiple AIs for the goalies, and switch up the goalie every game. Switch up the AI that you give the goalie every game. It's random, or every period would be better. You know what I mean? Like, for those of you that watch Bacon Country, you guys know the Bacon slapshot snipe, how the goalie hugs the post, and you can tuck it in from the bottom of the circle to the far post if you shoot it along the ice. There's such an easy fix to that, which is just make one of the goalie AIs the goalie that doesn't hug the post. That way you got a 33% chance of facing a goalie that's not going to do that period. You know what I mean? If they have 3 different goalie AIs per period and it's shuffled, and sometimes maybe you get the same one twice in a row, maybe it's more than 3, so you never know what the goalie's going to do. Because right now that's kind of why glitch goals exist. It's because you always know what the goalie's going to do. The goalie doesn't change game to game, period to period. He does the same shit. So if they were to just add multiple AIs and toggle those every period or every game, same with the defense, same with the offensive AI, it would just it would make the game less repetitive, less boring. I think that's kind of the best solution, and especially with the new consoles. The only reason, in my mind, that it's not in the game right now is just because everyone knows that the last gen consoles are tapped out. No one's expecting cool features to be put into these games. It's just they can't handle it. You see the games that came out on in like 2005, NHL 06, and you see the difference between then and NHL 14. It's day and night, right? So, like, the games are just stressed out already. Patrick Kane is a first-line All-Star. Anyone else? Anyone else? What about in goal? Probably not, eh? No, so it's just Kane, which makes sense. But yeah, that's what I think about NHL 15. I mean, I haven't done any NHL 14 review video. I've done the GM mode changes, but that's really specific to just GM mode. So I thought I would touch on my thoughts just real quick. I mean, there's not a lot to watch when you're just simming through the first half of a season, so might as well give you guys something to listen to rather than what's going on in the simulation engine. And I'm really hoping that NHL 15 has a faster sim engine. I mean, that the next gen consoles should be able to just plow through some of these games, because like, it's, what do you think, it's been like 6 seconds on the 29th there and my team's not even playing a game. Like, I understand it has to sim all the games for all the teams. I'm not retarded, but like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, it's 2 seconds at least per day, and that's a quick day. Like, this day's been at least 4 seconds. Imagine if all these days took 1 second, you'd be saving like 300. Your simulation would be 300 times as fast. So that would be really exciting to see. It would allow more to get done in an episode of GM mode. And kind of touching on that, I want to drop this on you guys and see what you guys think. For next gen and the new game, I'm thinking about kind of editing down my GM modes. I want to bring more GM modes out, and I want to do it in a sense where you're not having to sit through all the boring pauses and simulations and me talking about what's going on in the NHL or what's going on with EA, or me just stammering to find something to talk about because the simulation part of this game isn't very exciting. What is good about GM mode? It's the playoffs, it's the drafting, it's the off-season, it's the building your lines, it's looking at the stats, it's scouting, it's all that kind of stuff is what makes GM mode fun, right? So the actual getting from the beginning of the season to the trade deadline, if you're not going to make any trades, it's really not that exciting. There's not much to look forward to. So I would like to hear from you guys what you think of of kind of condensing it, editing it down. I mean, it's going to take more time for me to edit it down, but it's going to be shorter videos, or if the videos are going to stay as long, there's going to be more days simulated. The off-season videos, those are going to stay the same just because there's not a lot of downtime in the off-season. But for the regular season, I already do the playoffs pretty quick. A couple rounds per video rather than just one round per video. I think that's kind of an easy way out. But I would like to get the videos shorter a little bit because I don't think anyone wants to watch a 40-minute GM mode. I know I'm not really interested in that. I put them out just because that's kind of when I say I start and when I say I stop. And sometimes it ends up being about 40 minutes, but there's probably not a lot of you that are willing to sit through all that. I mean, a 20-minute video, which this one is at right about now, is probably easier to digest for you guys than a 40-minute video. And you'd probably rather see a video one day and a video the next that are each 20 minutes rather than one 40-minute video. But definitely give me your input on that, because I wouldn't mind doing that for you guys. Editing down some of the pauses and the downtime through the regular season and putting out more videos. Because if they're less time, and especially if NHL 15 sims faster, I won't have to split these regular season videos into 2 or 3 parts, right? If the off season, depending on if they add any features to GM mode, I'm pretty sure you would have heard it by now. It's probably the same mode with a different menu system, which is disappointing, but that's how it is. We'll see when it comes out, but it's probably, I could probably do 3 or 4 episodes in a season. What do I do now? It's usually 1 to the deadline, 1 to the end of the season, 2 for playoffs, and 1 for off season. So it's usually 5. I'd like to get it down to 3 per season, so like an off season, a playoffs, and a regular season, and just power through videos. Like do a year of simulation every week on the channel would be really good to do. I know you guys probably would like to see that rather than a year every month. It seems if I'm doing a video a week and I'm cycling between Japan and Phoenix and live the life. But yeah, let me know all your thoughts about what I'm talking about in the comments, and I'll definitely just pick whatever seems to be popular. But we're up to the trade deadline now. I'm going to stop the simulation here. We're going to take a look at the stats one last time before I end the video. Player stats season, here we go. Hopefully Hagelin stepped it up on that first line. It looks like he has. 34 points. Jokinen also 34 points. Higgins 33 points on that second line. Bourneval, as our first line center, I'm happy that he does have the most points. Tyrell, we did move him up, so he's at 25 points on the second line center. So our top 6 are leading the team in points. That's good. I'm happy with that. Gilbert and Postma, those are top 2 defensemen. Martin and Ellerby. Anderson, the third line center, only has 12 points. Kuhlman, third line sniper, only has 12 points. Where's Ellerby? Oh, here he is. A lot of penalty minutes. Let's take a look at plus minus. He dropped big time. He was even. He's minus 16, I just saw. So it looks like Jokinen's our only even player. He's on the second line. Bourneval, he's on the second. No, he's on the first line. Tyrell's on the second line. Kane's on the first line. Hagelin is on the first line. Plus minus is kind of brutal, but team's not really that good yet, right? So what are you gonna do? Kane, 46 points in 63 games. That's average. We didn't look at the goalies the first stop, so let's do that now. Tokarski's played 13 games. He's at a .266 goals against average, which it's pretty bad, but for a 79 overall goalie, that's not so it's not so bad. Elliott, 241. 24 and 23 is his record. Look at Tokarski, 2-8 record. That's brutal. Save percentage 92.28 for Elliott, so I'm happy with that. Tokarski really has to bring that number up. That's those are some fucking Devin Dubnyk numbers right there. No points for either of these guys. And then we'll take a look at just the team stats. see where every team is, and what we're going to do at the deadline now, because it looks like we are in 26th, so we're way out of the playoffs. We got the 5th overall pick as it stands right now, so looks like it's going to be another year of no playoffs for Team Japan, unfortunately. In order to get into 16th, we'll go to the West. In order to get into 8th, where Dallas is, they have 64 points, so we're only six wins out, but that's those are some, or 3 wins, sorry, 6 points. But that's a big amount to climb when your record is 26-31. So it might not be the best idea for us to buy at this trade deadline. Selling might be the better option. Definitely want to keep Patrick Kane. Hagelin, I wouldn't even mind keeping, but everyone else is pretty much on the table. Ellerby and Postma I might want to keep those guys. Who's our fucking first line center? It's not Bouillon, it's Bourneval. Okay, Bourneval. I might want to keep our first line, but I feel like everyone from here down, except for Bo Bennett, maybe, can go. Might want to keep these 2 guys. Postma might be able to go. How old is he? He's 26, isn't he? 27 now. I'd rather not trade these 2 guys. These 4, feel free to get rid of them. And goalies, feel free to get rid of those guys too. So let me know if you see anyone that's really not performing and can hit the trade block. One name for me that stands out is what's his fucking dick? Joakim Anderson from the Red Wings. We picked him up. He hasn't been doing anything for us. What, he had 12 points or something like that? Brutal. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments about trades for next video, as well as all the shit we talked about throughout the video. So content schedule, what kind of team I should go for in my next GM mode, and see you in the next video. Peace.